I'm not one for recording things, but there is a story that I want to share today, and I thought the best way to do this is on a video. And I'm not a baker. I bake probably 3 times a year. I'll make occasionally banana muffins or banana bread and gingerbread cookies, usually around Christmas time for my kids. That's their treat. I'm not a big dessert eater, so I typically don't make desserts. Usually my dessert consists of like fresh fruit bowl. But anyway, I woke up this morning with this female spirit in. And when I say they're in, it means she has sort of taken up residence in my body temporarily. And I've done this many, many times over the years. I had a young male spirit in a couple summers ago, actually, whose name was Jason. And when Jason was in, I temporarily take on their behaviors or attributes, if you will. So when Jason was in, I smoked a cigarette, which I don't normally do. I drank about 6 ounces of whiskey straight up, again, not something I would normally do. And I had a bowl of vanilla ice cream. And I thought to myself, thank God he didn't want to get laid one more time, because I would have been in trouble, and worse still would have been my friend Lindsay, who happened to be with me at the time that this was happening. And it's so hard to explain to people. It's not something that scares me. They're not in to stay. I allow them their requests if they have them, like the whiskey. Okay, not a big deal. You know, I wasn't driving. Smoking one cigarette. It's almost like it's their last wish before they cross over. And I remember with Jason in particular, after he got all of these things, so he had the whiskey, had the cigarette, had the ice cream, and then in the midst of all this, I broke down in this heaping mess of tears and cried it all out, and then he was gone. He's good. It's okay. He actually popped in the next day and he said, this is really hard on you. And I said, only when it's happening. Once it's done, I'm good. I'm fine. I'm just tired, but I'm fine. So this morning I woke up with this overwhelming urge to bake, and I'm thinking, okay, who's here? Who's in? And this woman's name is Rose. Now, I don't know at this point anything more about Rose than just her name, and I can feel her actually as I'm talking here. I can feel her listening to me in the background. And so today we've done all this baking, and my sister is visiting, and she's watching me going, I've never seen you like this. I've never seen you behave this way. And I said, it's not me. So as I'm doing all this, now Rose has not had her emotional release yet. She will at some point today. I will be, whether I'm home with my family or I get in the car and I go out somewhere for a drive, I can feel it in my face. I will be a crying mess before the end of this day as Rose grieves her passing. So obviously, Rose was someone who loved to bake. And she's feeling the need to do this through me. So basically, she has picked through my brain, and she knows what I'm comfortable with and what I'd have the ingredients for, because it's things that I would have made in the past. And so we've had a baking day today. And it just cracks me up because my kids are going to get home this evening and they are going to be so freaked out because there is cake and banana bread and Newfie snowballs and Rice Krispie treats and gingerbread cookies. It's like, what the hell happened to mom? You know, and so, I mean, this afternoon and this evening is going to be absolutely hilarious in my world in one sense, and then crushing in another. Because at some point, like I said, I will have to allow Rose to have her release. And later on, I will post pictures on Facebook of all of my day's efforts. It should be interesting. But you know, the reason why I'm sharing this story is because I do believe that there are many open channels out there. And that's how I refer to myself. I'm an open channel. I allow souls to step into my energy field to do what they need to do. And as a child, I used to say to my mom, can you just slap me and make me cry? I need to cry, but I have nothing to cry about. And she'd say, no, I'm not doing that. And I didn't understand it when I was little. And as I've gotten mature, I now understand what it is, and I allow it to work through. So for those of you who have days where you're behaving out of the norm, it might not be you. It may be somebody who has stepped in, who's sort of guiding you, taking over. And that's not an excuse for every crappy thing that you do, okay? Like, there is limits. They will not have you do anything illegal. They will not ask you to do anything that goes against your morals. So obviously I'm very much okay with smoking a cigarette and having a few shots of whiskey. But, you know, it's just such a strange thing. And there's a lot more to the spiritual life than we're even aware of. And so when I have weird experiences, I do like to share them because I like people to understand that this is not crazy or insane or abnormal, and nobody's taking me over and forcing me to do things I don't want to do. I'm just allowing them to have one more opportunity to do something they like to do in this life, or that's something they need closure on, or something that just helps them work through their own grief before they're able to make the transition. And I'm praying that Rose actually makes her transition this evening, because I have a group tomorrow and I would just like to be Linda for that group. Anyway, thanks for listening. Just wanted to share.